All right, thank you so much. A little bit of group thing there. And when we talk about group activities, we also think about elections. Our election, the presidential election, is only months away. As a matter of fact, the Independent National Electoral Commission has given a timetable, and all parties involved have also started to make sure that they put things together to make the election works. Now, the INEC has told us that the continuous voters registration has started. The online continuous voters registration exercise has started. But the very big question is how, to what extent do the electorate know about this? Now, we've got, excuse me, we've got the state director of the National Registration Agency, Mr. Austin Odinle, whose responsibility it is to orientate the people on national activities. Mr. Austin Odinle, you're welcome to this program.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning, viewers.
Now, if I ask you how prepared you are for the election, you tell me that you are so prepared. But let's leave your attention now and come to the electorate. Whose responsibilities is it to elect their leaders, their governors, and their president? Now, for the 2023 presidential election, INEC has told us that continuous voters registration online is ongoing. But from findings, it appears that the electorates are not interested, or they are not even aware. To what extent, from your point of view, do you think these electorates are compliant to this exercise?
Thank you very much. I remember the last time I was there as your guest, I did say, and I still maintain that the national orientation is doing well in its sustained sensitization on, on the electorates towards the 2023 presidential elections. We know that election is a cycle in this country, and that every 4 years there must be elections, because that is when the need arises for the election of a new set of persons to take charge of our affairs, or to confirm those who are there, they are eligible to recontest. In this wise, at least 2023 is around the corner, like you rightly mentioned. The electoral umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission, has since released the timetable for the elections. And I think I listened to your last guest on the show, and I think I was quite, happy and at home with her submission that actually the electorate is no longer ignorant. At least they are aware, conscious of the need, you understand, to come together at least to enthrone at least, a committed leadership that would deliver on their campaign or electoral promises. That is a good one. And then for your question on whether the electorate is compliant concerning the continuous voters registration exercise, I would say yes. Because last year there was, the INEC came out with a new innovation, it digitized the process. One, maybe because of the COVID-19, scourge that has made it near impossible for a large crowd of persons to gather, to come forward. So they decide to make it online, and that you register online, get your printout, and then go to any of the CVR centers, for physical capturing of your biodata. I think I did that last year because I needed to update my records and all the rest. So it was seamless. That was the phase 2. As I speak with you, the phase 3 of that registration exercise is ongoing. And INEC taking into cognizance the fact that not everybody is ICT compliant, you understand, because you still have some persons who are analog, and some persons who, because of the of inaccessibility
to internet,
to the internet in their areas, have gone further, you understand, to make it that even if you cannot register online, just come forward to any from one registration center, which used to be the INEC offices in the local government. They've added several other centers that you can now go to between the hours of 9 a.m. in the morning to 3 p.m. That's the third phase of the registration that is ongoing. That you can go and start from zero registration until you complete the exercise.
Mr. Austin Ondile, you are telling us what INEC is doing.
Yes, I know.
You tell us what you, as an agency, as
no, like I told you, I started by saying at least our mandate is, for now, you have two types of sensitization. Now, what we are doing now is churning out voter information. As per, you need to register, what it takes you to register, the centers for registration, the center for registration, and the time, and the need for you
to register.
Because you know your PVC is your vote, is the power you have, to exercise your franchise to elect your candidate, the candidate you believe will deliver, you understand, on his or her campaign promises, according to the manifestos of his or her political parties, whatever platform you understand the person is contesting. That is what we are doing. That's why I started by saying, in my last appearance here, I did tell you that we're in the field, and that is the truth. Because if the electorate is not sufficiently, sensitized and mobilized, to accept ownership of the exercise, I don't think INEC, it is because the one center that we had last year is no longer enough. That is why INEC.
Mr. Austin, when you say you are in the field, when you come here, I will always attack you because
No. You are entitled to your opinion, now, for example, because when you do that, at least you put in us, at least, definitely, like I say, there's always room for improvement. Yeah. You understand?
So when you say you are in the field, how are you in the field? Which field are you in?
Let me tell you, we have 18 local government areas in Edo State. And NOAA has offices in all these local government areas. I can provide you with the addresses. I can provide you with the community orientation and mobilization officer, that contacts, in case if you need to do further investigation to see if my claims are true or false.
But the media doesn't get feedback on what
look, let me tell you. I know you have correspondences. You don't have correspondences in the 18 local government areas of business.
We do.
No. Look on your scroll there, and on the rest at least. At the time you look at correspondences and on the rest, in Edo State they are not operating.
We go around.
When you go around, I know you rose.
If you so wish to have our attention, I know.
And media has
correspondents everywhere.
Media has the reach. Yeah. That is why I'm telling you now that at your prompting, I can make available at the end of this program the names, contact, telephone numbers of our chief community orientation and mobilization officers for you to reach them.
No, it is not for me
what
to
I'm
reach
telling
them.
you is, it is not enough for you to say our media, that the media is not aware that ITV, and I know we have a robust partnership, that maybe your correspondents don't know all officers in the field, in the local government areas. It's not enough to say there are no other media houses, for example. Media, as you used it, is omnibus. You understand? So I want you to just pick for ITV. That is just a part of the media. You understand? So having said that, I'm telling you now, we don't just work alone. We partner with even the INEC, civil society organizations, even the local government, at least that are good enough, at least our landlords, because our offices are provided by the local government. Because, like I said, people see the National Orientation Agency as just a creation of the federal government to work for the federal government. I say no, because the act, establishing the National Orientation Agency made, funding for the agency a three-tier affair. The federal, the state, and the local government. Because we're here in the state, for example, this directorate is not only working for the federal government, we work for the state, we work for the local government.
So are you saying that you don't get support from the local governments around?
Well, it is not as it should be. It is not as it should be. Maybe because
is that why your operation seems to be limited?
Oh, definitely. If you don't have enough funds to work as it should be, definitely there will be challenges. There are challenges, but that is not to say the agency is not functioning at all. It's not working. At least within the available means and resources, at least we are bending bad works. But myself and the entire staff of the directorate here, at least we're making enough sacrifices at least to ensure that at least we deliver on our mandate. And that is the truth. I'm not saying the local government is saying they are not working, but at least it is not as it should be. Unlike when you compare, the funding of the agency in the military, you understand, you discover that at least the local government, the states, at least they were performing logistics and funding because they knew, and maybe because in a military regime, command is central. You understand that once there is a directive, it goes down. Is obey before complain. Unlike you know, the civilian dispensation, the democracy that we run, that maybe, for example, at the federal level is another party, at the state is another party. Like I said, I did say that, you know, there's a misconception that people think that NOAA, because it's a creation of the federal government, that it is just for the federal government alone. That is not the true position. Because right here, we write reports and all the rest. We collaborate. Like later today, I have a very serious assignment. Yesterday, the agency is very active on the risk communication pillar of the Edo State response team on COVID-19. And you see at least activities there, all over. So are we not working for the state? We are working for the people of the state. It's the same thing at the local government level.
All right, now, the 2023 election, no doubt, we must keep on talking about it, and we understand that in as much as we are still waiting for the electoral bill, it may be passed, you know, as it relates to the direct mode of choosing the candidates and all that. Now, is NOAA also orientating the electorate? Because the electorates are going to be parts of whatever comes out now, whether the direct mode of primaries or the indirect. Is NOAA orientating the electorate in this direction?
Yes, because you see, let us look at why the president declined his assent to the Electoral Act, the amended Electoral Act. I think his reasons are logical to me, because any law that is not in sync with the Constitution, that the ground norm on which, you know, our democracy runs, definitely we are told that the Constitution supersedes that. Now, at the time you just in a straitjacket manner prescribe one single mode, you know, of primaries, direct. Though people will say, yes, the direct primary, for example, if it was signed into law, would have actually returned power to the people. You understand? But at the same time, you look at the president's arguments that because of the Constitution, it has guaranteed freedom to do certain things, you understand, which includes freedom of you to choose on how you want to be governed, you understand, and those who to be your leaders. And so just prescribing that one will rob, you know, the political parties. The political parties are a creation of the Constitution, honestly, and the Constitution has prescribed their mode of operations. And the Electoral Act is a creation, and you cannot, the Electoral Act cannot be read in isolation outside the provisions of the Constitution. I think what he has simply done is to say, look, it should not be, you know, one mode should not be prescribed, and that one, like what they have in their constitutions, for example, you have 3 types: direct primary, indirect primaries, and consensus. We know that at least most political parties, from like I think the last conventions and primary of the APC to elect the presidential candidate for the 2019 election, it was a direct one. So maybe the parties on their own, we know what we are striving for is the enthronement of internal party democracy, to remove this idea of godfatherism, you know, money, you know, the influence, unwieldy influence of money bags, who through the indirect primaries, for example, could just gather, you know, the delegates. Yeah. You understand? Could just gather the delegates in one room
and pay them off.
And then, of course, you know, he who pays the papa dictates the tune. Yeah. There is even this argument from another quarters that, you know, who is a delegate. And that is why, for example, they say the governors, you understand, have taken over the structures of the parties. You know, because all political appointees, for example, are automatic delegates.
Not done by the governor, yeah.
You understand? Yeah. So that on the eve of an election, for example, a governor could decide to appoint 5,000 aides, essays, and all the rest. There is nothing you can do about it because it is a prerogative. And automatically they translate to being delegates. These are the fears of people, for example, that no, it should not be so. But what we are saying, I think the National Assembly, they reconvened yesterday. We listened to the leadership of both the Senate and the House of Representatives that, well, they are going to sit down, look at it, do a lot of consultations, at the end of the day, arrive at a compromise within the shortest possible time, at least pass, you know, the amended version, and then which will be transmitted for the president for his speedy assent. The president has said as soon as that section is amended, at least to reflect the wishes of the people, definitely he will sign it.
All right, the program is still this morning on ITV, and we are looking at the continuous voters registration exercise by the Independent National Electoral Commission, and they're also seeing the level of compliance by the electorate. And we told you that the responsibility of NOAA is to orientate the people, orientate everybody in the country on civil activities, on national activities, hence the 2023 election. Now, let's look at the political parties. I want to believe that you also have some level of orientation, so to say, with the political parties. Now, as we look towards the 2023 election, how are you carrying the political parties along?
Yeah, at every point in time, we interact with the leadership of the political parties in the states. Not just one, all of them. So what we do is, routinely we visit them in their offices, we hold parleys with them, stakeholders forum, invite some other critical stakeholders and all the rest, to let them know their role. That at least for any person to seek political leadership at any level, a political party is the vehicle, the platform on which that person will realize his or her ambitions. And that when we meet, we let them know that power actually belongs to the people. That even the chairman of a political party, starting from the wards, for example, are elected by the people. They are not selected. That is why you have congresses, even if at times they are contentious. Because, yes, you have different, interests. Yes, interests and all the rest. That is expected. The ability to harmonize all of these interest groups and then to forge a common front, you understand? That is what we seek for. So we meet with them, we let them know the people's expectation of them, not to see their position as self-seeking or for personal aggrandizement, that it is a call for service, a call for collective efforts, at least to enthrone true democratic ethos, you understand? Internal party discipline. Once we have that, we get it right. For example, you discover that all these rancor, court cases, pre-election matters and election matters actually will be minimized or will even become a thing of the past. So routinely we interact with them. That is why in Navi we have the names and addresses of all the political parties, and at least even if it is not constitutional, at least anytime they have congresses and all the rest, we monitor. You understand? We just go, we observe to ensure that at least firsthand we know who and who is the leader at least, and then having satisfied that, at least we document so that we know when we want to interact, we want to send correspondences and all the rest, we know it will not go the wrong way. And we do that at least with INEC. We finalize the list with INEC because, INEC, it is a constitutional role, at least responsibility to monitor these congresses of political parties to ensure that at least they were organized within the ambits of the law. So it is at the end of this, we get the final list from INEC, and that is, we deal with them.
Okay. Now, before I let you go, Mr. Austin Odinle, let's talk about public perception one more time about the NOAA. Because it appears people will say that it is only when civil national activities are closed that we get to see you guys. Are you concerned about this? If you are concerned, what are you doing about this?
You see, look, it's not possible for every person to reason alike. You understand, we have different opinions, we have peculiarities, and so God has granted us the power of speech. It now behoves on us to know how to put that power of speech they used to, either in the negative or in the positive. Like I said some time ago here, you see, some of us are incurable, pessimists. We just have this negative mindset that anything Nigeria, anything that is a creation and institution of government cannot work. It's a mindset.
But it is
that is a perception. But to say NOAA, like I just gave an instance just now, at least what we do. Look, NOAA is not just concerned with elections. Let me just inform you. Now, you see this social investment program of the federal government that is being driven by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Manager and Social Development. You understand? It is NOAA that is actually the driver.
Now, when you
when it
talk
comes
about
to
that social
when it comes
investment program, Mr.
look, that is done because of the credibility and because of the reach of the agency. I just gave you just one of that.
In Edo State,
most
the social investment program in Edo State.
Yes.
Now, what, from your own perception, as a part of that program, of that project, what would you say is the impression about that program with the people in Edo State? That program, is it on the ground? Is it felt in Edo State?
Yes. You see, there's so much. Look, it started with this Empower. And that Empower that is where jobs were offered to graduates and non-graduates, those who have skills, and for some person to acquire skills. And they were put on a stipend of 30,000 naira. And then those, you have NTEACH, NANGRO, NTech, graphics, all of that, you understand. And then you now have the school feeding program. You have the conditional cash transfer, which was the capturing, the enumeration and capturing of potential benefit of beneficiaries was done by the National Orientation Agency. And then, of course, now you have what they are doing now is the trader money, market money, and farmer money.
What is the status quo of this project?
No, it's ongoing. So let me tell you, some persons, for example, this conditional cash transfer, last year at least, they receive their money. And then it's only the school feeding, homegrown school feeding program, for example, that you say that is localized to just 2 LJs. I think Orion one and Orion one, Ohonde. You understand? So it's supposed to cover the 18 local government area. Don't forget that all these ones, at least, even if you say it's a federal government creation, the state had its own, part to play. Because the schools, for example, majorly the primary schools, are supposed to be run by the state government. I don't want to go into that. So that program is well on course in Edo State. Like, just when you talk of security and all the rest, it is not 100%. We are not yet there, but it is going where at least it is moving steadily. At least as these things are being done, there are appraisers, and then from the appraisers and all the rest, at least, the gaps, the identified gaps, for example, are filled. So it's on course. As I speak with you, the physical capturing of the ones that say trader money, market money, and farmer money, that has been done. Those captured physically have been digitized. And I just, last week, Wednesday and Thursday, was in Abuja at least for 2 days, appraiser with the ministry, you understand. So the next stage now is the enumeration. So once the enumeration is done, I'm telling you that at least there will be, disbursements of these loans, interest-free, will come on. A lot is happening. But the problem is, like I said, because of our perception, some of us just decide to, we shut our eyes, you understand, our mind from the good things. It's just like you say, look, because you hate somebody, if you close your eyes, you're not going to know when angels they pass. And that is exactly what is that. What we need to do is to open our eyes, shine our eyes, to actually see what is happening. NOAA is doing a lot. Most MDAs, not just federal MDAs, at the state level and at the local government level at least, look, collaboration, we are being called left, right, and center. Population is around the corner now. We are collaborating, we are sensitizing and all the rest. We're in the field. Of course, we are talking of the elections. We have talked of the social investment program of the federal government and several others. Is it the COVID-19? You understand? I'm telling you that at least COVID-19 in Edo State, at least, NOAA has been a pivot. The life wire of that risk communication because of our reach. And then we have international collaborators too, or partners. Let me just single out UNICEF. You understand? Because last year, at least they came out when at the last phase of immunization, vaccination on COVID-19, it was discovered that Edo State is a risk state. Hesitancy is very high to the vaccine here in Edo State, and so response to the vaccines are low. So having gone around, did some research and statistics to discover that 10 local government areas were the least 10 local government areas. So UNICEF just said, no, you are there, you have the capacity, you have the capacity, so let us support you, let us collaborate. And we went around these 10 local government areas at least. And at the end of the day, I'm telling you now that at least this latest phase of vaccination now, at least that hesitancy is gradually wearing down. You just need to visit most vaccination centers, and you have mobile teams going around. That is why I need to say, give kudos to the governor of Edo State at least. He is doing his best at least to ensure that the health of the people is of prime importance to him. As I speak with you, yesterday we just wrote from, stakeholders meeting. Yes, and it is in continuation. And that's why I told you that, if I had known, just because at least I have the highest regard for you and this station because of what you are doing. That is why I just squeeze out time to be here.
And also for you too, because we give you the platform to let
yes,
people
yes. That's why I say I have the highest regard. It's not a thing. So when you say come, definitely I begin to give excuses and all the rest. So that is why I say I must come. It's top priority.
Okay. So still on the issue of trying to orientate the people now, we're trying to make. All right, we still have some time here now. Let's talk about the election one more time. We have a situation on ground that seems to be very, very complicating now. The political parties, trying to get their candidates, and also we talked about what seems to be absent now with this election, the third force issue. We're not seeing that now, except maybe the political parties choose their candidate first. Then we'll begin to see candidates breaking out and also joining or forming another political parties. Now, little wonder whether NOAA as an agency, whether you try to carry the electorate along, because the issue most times is the point that the electorate, they really don't know who to choose. They don't know who to choose. They know the political parties, but when it comes to the candidates, they don't choose right, and that becomes a problem. Don't you think that NOAA as an agency has the responsibility to let the electorate know that, look, these are things you need to look out for in choosing the right candidates?
You see, talking of a third force, for example, what the Constitution, the platform the Constitution recognized to field candidates are the political parties. Yeah. So whether third or fourth forces are not there, definitely there are forces. As we speak, there are alignments and realignments, and there will be more realignments. Yeah, before the election. Understand? There will be carpet crossings. Yes, because if my interest, for example, is not carried along, and I believe that the grass will be greener on the other side for me, on the other platform, and that's where my bread will be more buttered, I will jump ship. It's a healthy competition. It is allowed. The only thing is the way, you see at the drop of a hat, you see the way people move in droves. That is why there are comparison between us and other civilized climes. That is just by the way. On the issue of whether
the electorate knowing,
whether the agency, for example, is sensitized, it has always been there. Because what we have confronting us now, the monster now, is the monetization of politics in Nigeria. So money, whether you like it or not, plays a major role in determining the outcome of elections in this country. And so what we're trying to tell the electorate, our message has always been, vote according to your conscience. You understand? Because in those days, if you look at the Second Republic, for example, the performance of the governors of the Lobo states, you understand, under the defunct Unity Party of Nigeria led by the late stage Obafemi Awolowo, you discover that at least they ran their respective states according to the provisions of the party's manifestos, not individually contrived, plans of actions like we have now. That is just, and then we let the people know that, look, if I put up myself to say, look, vote for me, you should look at my antecedents. What has Austin Odile in his community of Sasaro, the local, his ward 7, his local government area, his immediate catchment area? What is his pedigree? What is he bringing on board? What has he done that, is a testimony, is a testimonial that we can use to grade him, to actually put our faith and trust in him, and not from nowhere a money bag will just come. First of all, the source or sources of his wealth, for example, are not known, are questionable, but because he's able to dole out largesse, it is on that strength, for example, that people are saying no to the indirect, whatever, that they want direct, but because to them it will be very difficult for you
to bribe everybody.
Yeah. You understand? But we are appealing to the conscience or consciences of Nigeria citizens, those who are eligible from 18 years and above, to say, look, when you take money to vote maybe during primaries or the re-elections, you are mortgaging not just your future, the future of your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren.
I think we have to be careful with the way we say that in Nigeria. When we say you take money, then you expect me to vote my conscience. If I take money from you, Austin Odinle, definitely my conscience will prick me if I don't vote for you. So
no. Where I say don't even take the money.
Exactly.
Look,
So
it has happened in the past, for example, that would say, look, take the money.
If you don't even take the money at all.
Some take, you understand, some take. They don't vote. They don't vote for the person.
But this time it has to
look,
be, don't
let
take
me tell you, in 2000 and, look, even 1992, there was an election in this state. You know the outcome of that election. I don't want to, you understand? Even in 2016 and 2020 elections, you understand?
There was an election.
You're not just in Edo State alone. And some other states, for example, you discover that even money played a major role. Those who spent money lost. Like the last speaker, the guest you had here, the lady you had here before I came in, did say that one, it's a collective action. You understand? If you believe, Nigeria has grown beyond voting for political parties now. Nigerians are beginning to look at individuals. That was what she said, and that is the truth. That yes, what is he? Who is he? Who is she? What is what is he or she bringing on board? What is his or her pedigree? Can we trust him? Can we entrust him? He has done this, he has done that. You understand? So those are the things, those are the parameters people are looking at. Yes, and I bet you 2023 there will be shockers.
All right, Mr. Austin Odile is the state director of the National Orientation Agency in acting capacity. We pray that very soon you'll be full force state director, so that we can get more replies from you. And he has been shedding light on the continuous voters registration exercise that is going on by the Independent National Electoral Commission, and also the need for Electorate to come out there and vote. A very big thank you to you, Mr. Austin Odile, for finding time to join us today on the show.
My pleasure always.
The program this morning on ITV is still very much on. Please stay tuned.